I'm excited to check out Freeze the Fall's Hypothermia, which a lot of you have suggested. So let's get started.
I drape the cloth over my eyes.
I absolutely love how that started. Just her voice. And then we just punch right in with the music. Everything just starts out fantastic with this. At the end, I'm also going to check out the lyrics. I think some of you have even mentioned in the comments in the previous video, because I asked if they were signed. And the response was that they were signed, I think, with Dave Kruger's label from, I know all of you are saying it, Nickelback. But does that label pay to produce these videos? I think somebody actually did respond that their Patreon is what helped them fund the first video. So I'm extremely curious about this. The reason I ask is this is just like the first song and the first video that I did. This is just remarkable because just visually in costumes and where they are, like I get this is natural outside, but nonetheless, all the cinematography is just incredible. The visuals are absolutely incredible. So I'm curious if this is self-funded, fan-funded, or studio-funded. They all absolutely rock. The other thing I wanted to mention is I love the way that he does the fills for some of the drums. I'm not a drummer, so I don't know all of the tempo aspects, but I just love how even in the slow parts, he'll add in an additional tom or bass, which just gives it a little bit more depth, which I absolutely love. And her voice is incredible. Musically, they're just phenomenal. Just that extra drum beat makes such a big difference to the song. That. I love how they synchronize his fast drumming with the fast scribbling. It's perfect, kind of like they did that on purpose, I presume, with the gunshots in the last video. They watch me as I die, crashing through the Oh, I love that. Her voice has been nice and centered and equal between the ears. But this was nice, at least the first time I've noticed. It actually starts out here in the left ear, but then it sweeps over to the right ear from behind. Yeah. just his drumming is amazing. And we get the nice sweep from the left ear to the right ear. So we just get this entire wonderful atmospheric drum. Whoa. Oh, I'm interested because now we saw the lies etched on their face, and now it looks like they're scars. Yeah.
Watch each other die underneath the eye. They watch me as I die.
Oh.
Rushing through the eyes. I'll never breathe again. And everyone's a victim, but everyone's alive. And they'll say I cried. And they'll say I cried. So say my words for me.
Oh, jeez.
So say my words for me.
We sink into the black? As I sink into the black. So quiet down here. Sorry, I shouldn't be talking. I'm going to turn on closed captions real quick to see. Okay. As I sink into the black, it's so quiet down here. There was more after that, though. Oh, it doesn't say it. I'm just a something. You probably know. If I can't figure it out this time, just let me know in the comments. I'm just a I can't make out the rest. Let me know what it says. The closed caption didn't help, and it might be in the description. I'll pull it up in just a minute. Okay, so this time I don't recall the cast. No, they did do the cast last time. Never mind. So this is pretty remarkable. I don't remember who the producer was on the last one. It's really cool that they actually give this credit. Not a lot of bands will do that. I know, it's kind of long. I love how we got this atmospheric sound as it gives this swaying motion just like we're seeing with the water, which is really nice. Orphanarium. Is that the album? It is such a wicked symbol. Like, that's absolutely perfect. I do know, I'm going to check out, let me look at the description real quick. Because, okay, so who's produced? I didn't compare it. Like I said, the first song that I did of theirs, I did not want to have any type of indicator or idea of the band. I just wanted to experience the music for the first time. So I didn't look at the descriptions. I didn't look at the lyrics. So I actually wanted to go through and look at the description on this one. And in the future, I'll compare to see if there are same song producers, sound engineers, because musically it's incredible. I like to, for bands like Ren, or an artist like Ren and Chinchilla and Dirt Miller and some of these smaller bands or independent bands, like to discuss the production and the mastering of the music. So that's one of the reasons why I asked if they were signed and if they have any input, or do they have all the input in that, because atmospherically it's an incredible song. It just the way that this pans in the movement, it's not, and I think I even said this on the other song, it's not just a stereo song. It's just not music in your left and right ear. You really want, especially with music like this, that's hard hitting and power punching, you want that separation so you can actually hear all the instruments and the nuances, because they each have their own element and layer. And they've done a fantastic job regardless of who this is. I mean, I know the sound engineering and some production are almost the same. Udale, I don't even want to try to mess that up. Nonetheless, I'm still curious how much input the actual band has for some of that, because it is extremely well produced. So I wanted to check out the lyrics real quick, since I hadn't on the other. So I draped the clothes over my eyes, frostbitten silence haunts me. It led me to this life. Here I'm assessed and rated, strength and anonymity. The fool danced enchanted, smirks as we lie. So this person is basically being taken and hidden somewhere. They watch me as I die, crashing through the ice. I'll never breathe again, and everyone's a victim, but everyone's a knife. Oh, that is a great lyric. So I step off the edge. I love that everyone's a victim, but contradicting itself, everyone's a knife. So they each basically are a product of their own demise. Crimson meets porcelain. Oh, I love that line. Blood rust on snow. Paint what's left in fridge waves below. Silenced forever, yet I'm at peace. And still the flowers grow, almost symbolizing death, right? Silenced forever, yet they're at peace, similar to if you were to pass. And yet still the flowers grow all around over the grave, flowers being delivered. That's just my input. I don't know how true that is. They watch me as I die, crushed through the ice. I'll never breathe again, and everyone's a victim, but everyone's a knife. Light floods my mind, rots all my time. I like that. I'm fed with these vibrant lies. We mock and taunt and spew our thoughts till we all look the same. So I was curious of the lyrics, especially since they had lies scratched on the face. We saw it on the arm. We saw it being rewritten and scratched over in the notebook. So I'm curious, are lies in reference to life in general? Because we mock, we taunt, we spew our thoughts till we all look the same. So if we're constantly told and reiterated these lies, does that then imply that we're all essentially blinded by what we're told and what we live by? I'm curious, because I don't know the background of the band and what philosophical or spiritual thoughts they have. So I don't want to speculate too far off. Watch each other die underneath the ice. They watch me as I die, crashing through the ice. I'll never breathe again. And everyone's a victim, but everyone's a knife. And they say I cried, and they'll say I cried, and they'll say I cried. So say my words for me. So say my words for me. So it's interesting that they're utilizing "they'll say I cried" as this story obviously is being retold. To what purpose? Meaning the person maybe really isn't afraid to be in this situation, yet it's going to be portrayed as the stories retold that they were. So it's undermining their strength. That's kind of my first take on that. Again, I don't want to spend too terribly much long on this, but I really, like I said, I hadn't paid attention to the lyrics prior, and I wanted to in this, and I need to go back and read the lyrics to Rot, because I am curious to see what the underlying statements are on that. In any case, I've taken up far too much of your time. One of the things that I wanted to also mention, is this being the second song that I've only heard from this band, is that they're musically remarkable. Some were saying they were self-taught. Some say they were influenced by The Warning. To me, I see, outside the self-taught, I could see how The Warning would be an influence, but I honestly think that they're a little more orchestraic or operatic, which I really enjoy, because one of my favorite heavier bands is Breaking Benjamin, and it's because it's so melodically and thoughtfully put out and put together for the songs, both musically and lyrically. And I feel like this is the same, and they have these great slowdowns with these great harmonies, and accentuations on the music and the notes, and the drummers just phenomenal. I love that he just constantly peppers in these fills that that really bring it together and just wrap everything around. In any case, I really, really, really enjoy this band. Just like I do pretty much all the suggestions that you've given me. But this just hits closer to Breaking Benjamin melodically, and I love her voice. It goes so well with the music. Again, I've talked about bands that have great music and not a good vocal matching singer, and vice versa, and this is just absolute harmony. So, I have received some suggestions of other and future songs for them, but I'd love to know what some of your other suggestions might be for Freeze the Fall, and what your takes were on this. Did I understand the lyrics correctly? Is my interpretation along the same lines as yours? And if there are other bands along them that you recommend and adore, please let me know. Post in the comments. I'm always looking for new and interesting bands to listen to, because I used to go through, I think it's SoundCloud, because they list similarities for bands that you like, and this never came across as a recommendation in an association with Breaking Benjamin and some other bands I listen to. Nonetheless, I'm glad that this was a highly recommendation. So I'm always, again, looking for bands that you just think are utterly talented but underappreciated. So thank you so much for your time and so much for watching Melodic Logic. And until next time, please take care.